another one.
And I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this as well. So it says, my job wants me to travel 2 to 3 weeks a month for a new project. How can I reduce it? Or how can I ask to reduce it? I work in STEM. And for those who don't know, STEM is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. I think that's what it is. How can I politely say this is too much travel for me? I don't want to miss on the opportunity or come off as complaining, and I don't mind traveling, but 2 to 3 weeks every month is kind of a lot. I thought they mentioned it would be a couple of weeks on and a couple of weeks someone else would go, which would which is better. But when I talked to the guy I would be working with, he said 2 weeks minimum a month travel. Again, I don't mind traveling. I thought it was going to be like a week, a month, or something. I really like my job too. I just feel the travel is a lot. So start the clock. Okay, so here's the deal with this question, right? And I'm curious to hear your thoughts too. If whenever whenever a whenever a deal is made, right, and a job tells me something, I expect it to be give or take, right? It's going to be a little more or a little less. So while and if they told you mention a couple of weeks, wait, no, if they said when I talked to the guy I would be working with, he said 2 weeks minimum travel a month. So if they told you 2 weeks minimum, wait, if they told you 2 weeks minimum, that means it could easily be 2 to 3 times a week. Um, I don't know. I don't. I thought they meant. See, you thought they mentioned it would be a couple of weeks on and a couple of weeks someone else would go. Which, if that's the case, 2 weeks you'd go, and then 2 weeks the other person goes, and then 2 weeks you go, and 2 weeks the other person goes. So the question is, did you agree to this when you accepted the role? Right. Um, that like to me that it all comes down to did you accept this right now? Can you try to get out of it? You can. You don't want to miss on the opportunity and come off as complaining. Well, what I always talk about is having a plan. Did you plan this properly? If this is what you agreed to, you can ask for it, but they might say no. You agreed to this, and then you might have to figure out if you're going to keep that role or if you're going to go somewhere else. 2 to 3 weeks, it does sound a lot because that means you're home for like 1 week out of the month, and at that point, like, why do you even need your place? But that's another story. I would I would say like, hey, if it's that important to you, then you can have a conversation with whoever is in charge and say, is there a way that you can reduce it? But the thing is, what I always say is, what did you agree to? You know, it's it's your word. It's like a contract. You say, okay, I said I was gonna travel 2 to 3 weeks out of the month, and now I don't want to do it. So what are my options? Either, well, you can have a conversation with whoever's in charge, and they can say, "Well, this is what you agreed to. You have to do it." You can say, "I'm not going to do it," and then you go find another job, or you can try to negotiate. Right? I think it feels like you put yourself in this position, and now you wanna go back on what you agreed to. It's that's what it sounds like to me. You know, did you back out of it? And let me see what Mitch says. Sounds like in implementation team travel. They travel 60 to 90%. That sounds about right too. And it says they may travel to multiple different places. For example, 2 weeks Florida, then 2 weeks Jersey, then another 2 weeks Texas. Yeah, that sounds about right. Like they might be like, um, you know, they have to go a bunch of places because of the type of work that they do, the nature of the work that they do. My question is as well, did you ask these questions? A lot of times we just like, okay, yes, yes, yes. And then when the work comes, like, oh, no, no, no. You have to ask these questions in the beginning to know what's at stake. Sometimes they might float in front of you like, oh, you're gonna be making this much money and stuff like that. And then when you start doing the job, like, oh, but I don't want to go to this location. And now, what do you do? You know? So I think we don't properly plan, we don't properly weigh the risk. We agree to things until we actually have to do it. And that's the worst part about it, right? when we agree to things and then we actually don't want to do it, and now when we have to do it, we try to backtrack out of it. I would say you need to figure out what you agreed to and have a conversation or just do it, or find something else. Those are your options. Not much you can do. Like Mitch says, if you're working on implementation, then you have to travel. You have to travel. Mitch says 150K. Yes, I'll take it and then get a job and then get the job. Yeah, exactly, right? Like, yeah, I'll do it. Oh, that's what the job is, But hey, you got 150K, so you got to go out there and do what you got to do. And here's the thing, right? Now after you get the money, now you're like, well, can I change the terms of the condition? Well, are you willing to give back some of the money? No. Well, then no, you have to travel 2 to 3 times a week. What can I say? What can I say? But Mitch is always on point. Shout out to Mitch as always. All right, let's wrap up this question. Timer is going off.
If you enjoyed the fascinating information shared in this video and you want more, be sure to hit the subscribe button to Tech Coach Ralph to be notified for new videos.